That's me. Again, there's some issue with that. Thank you. And questions? Yep.
Oh, when?
For the person who is new to performance testing, where should I start?
You should start. Like I said, scripting is the first stage of starting. That's how I started as well. Honestly, if I share my experience when I looked at the first Vue script, I was like, no way in hell am I going to do that. Okay, so, but I did invest a lot of time. I spent a lot of time. I used to work like hours, and then I become an expert. So scripting is the first stage you would want to start your journey with performance, and then eventually you become a part of a team, which under their guidance you try to understand how to execute tests, and then how to do analysis. Analysis is a bigger portion of it. It's very complicated. It comes with an expertise. And every performance engagement is unique. Okay, you can't apply the same logic whichever you apply for this particular engagement. And everything is unique, and that's what keeps you on your toes in performance. It's exciting. It is stressful because, like I said, people don't realize till the last moment, and they come back to you. Okay, I want to get performance testing done, and then you are like spending day and night. But then there are curves. You have like period of slack time, and then you have period of peak time. So it's all about. It's also test your performance as well. So it's a very interesting technology. Cool. Yeah.
A lot of your examples were based around, excuse me, public websites with lots of users. When it comes to enterprise software, where people signing a contract aren't even daily users, and that switching to competitors is really expensive, and is the return on investment still there for performance testing for those sorts of?
Yes, definitely. Like I said, the ERP platform, I gave an example. One of our customers, if they don't do performance testing and they have done a lot of customization over an ERP solution, which is live, and then you have hit with the vendor update, what the vendor will ask, the actual vendor of the software will say, did you have any parameters, did you did any performance testing when you implemented those changes? They will not take the guarantee, because since you have done customization to an extent, they can no longer support those customization, and then your warranty is void. So that is a bigger risk that you carry if you are not doing performance testing, especially on the ERP platform, because a lot of customizations are there and a lot of JavaScript implementation are there. We have seen it more than often, and we have seen customer still not doing performance testing and then take the price. Yeah.
Anyone?
Okay. So if we compare UI test or functional test with performance test, functional test is one user logging in, doing stuff. It's light, it's cheap. But when we come to performance test, it consumes a lot of resource.
Yes.
And are there ways to do performance test but without a lot of expense?
You can make use of free tools. JMeter is one such tool. If you have enough capability, you can make use of your laptop. If it is a small test of 1,000 users, even a laptop would be able to simulate the load. But again, you need to understand where exactly you need to simulate the load from. If you are testing an application which is an in-house application, let's say a bank employee is using an in-house application, you need to test that application from within the network. Okay? An application which is outside your network, you have to test it from outside the network. You have to simulate the real user behavior. Now, if you are leveraging your laptop capabilities, it has to be, if you are in an enterprise, if you are part of an enterprise, you would be having a laptop associated with you from that company. You naturally might not be able to do any kind of testing from outside the network because your laptop is allocated to the network, unless you are allowed to maybe log in from your home network and do some kind of testing from there. But you can definitely leverage free tools like JMeter. If your load is quite less, you can just use a laptop and do that testing internally or externally. And if your load is quite high, you can create a distributed network of your own. So that's quite simple to do, and then you can still do performance testing. But the expense is more on the experience and expertise. If you still talk about the cost in terms of tool, because even though we have tools in the market, people still don't want to pay for it because the experience resource comes with the cost, and with the complexity of the application, you definitely need expertise. If I give you one more example, a recent customer of ours, they did thorough performance testing from 2 years. They have this very big data exchange platform. And then just before 1 month before going live, they came to us, we need to get the performance system done, we need to get that thing done. Everyone in the top management is asking all the questions. Can you come and get it done? We said, okay, we can do a plan initially and then we'll see how it can be done. And then when you get into such a situation, the customer, there are a lot of blocking factors as well. Like one of our friends, we talk about like people ego coming into play, right? People do not give you access to the people you need. So everything has to go through a particular individual. When a scenario like that happens, whatever you're conveying to that particular individual get communicated in a different way with people who you need information from. So there are a lot of issues in certain situations, but definitely we can't help with it. That's life when it comes to performance testing, and we just have to build it.
Yeah.
If possible, would you be able to give us an example of where you had to tackle, like a client requesting, doing a performance test for a million concurrent users?
Meaning concurrent users?
How would you approach, how would the approach for something at that scale?
Not in the recent times, but I was early on in the career working for a customer, US-based banking multinational company. I was quite young by that time, and it was my first project, and therein we did test, again, not in million, honestly, it was like tens of thousands. We haven't had a scenario where we have tested millions of users. Like again, I said, whenever the requirement comes in, right, we go to that initial planning and discovery stage. We try to understand what the exact requirements are, understand the technical specifications around the solution being implemented. We try to understand if there is a legacy system already available, and if that is uplifting its capability on the platform. We try to extract the information from the logs and see what is the pattern has been. And once a particular customer is trying to move to a new platform, and we targeting new audience as well, we do some kind of extrapolation on top of existing numbers, and then we try to target that number. Not entirely starting from, like I said as well, we start slow and low, and then we try to find the breakpoint of the application, and at a particular configuration of the infrastructure, we give them the detail as to these are the users that your platform can sustain for this particular configuration, environment configuration. So that's how you typically go about any of your engagement. Most of the time, the requirements are not unclear for the customer. You haven't seen a million user test required, but there are different platforms, different requirements. You might be testing batch processes, you might be testing file processing, you might be testing website, you might be testing mobile apps, and maybe a solution getting implemented like Dynamics 365 or an AML solution like Nice. So AML is an anti-money laundering solution. It's also a solution which banking firms do implement to meet the government requirements as well. Okay.
Cool. We're right on time.
Right.
Thanks.
Good. Is it done?
Yes.
Cool. Thanks. Thank you.
So, we finally made it to the last session of the day.